Hi, my name is Nancy Shzhchen Lee, and I'm from Osaka University. Thanks for having me at called TESOL 2023. Today, I'll be talking about the effects of receiving weekly peer feedback on L2 speaking development. The data from today's talk came from a bigger study that I conducted during my PhD research. First, I'll talk about the background to this research, the focus, okay, about the current study, okay, the type of intervention I use, some results, discussion, and conclusion and implications, limitations. So basically, I started my research in speaking because I found that even students that have very good writing proficiency still struggle with speaking. So this came from my own classroom that from the students that I've been teaching in Japan. Okay, so as kind of a solution to resolve this problem, many classrooms have adapted communicative language teaching, okay, where task-based language teaching approach became very popular. Okay, so in the classes, we do a lot of tasks, and that for learners, by completing these different tasks, okay, they improve in their speaking ability. Okay, while this approach is very promising, okay, there are also criticisms. And one of the biggest criticisms of the TBLT approach is that the lack of gains in grammatical accuracy. So at the moment, the integration of form into meaningful tasks has been recognized in the field of TBLT. So some well-known scholars, for example, Long, Shzhchen, have all emphasized the importance of integration. Okay, we need to remember that form-focused instruction, okay, is not necessarily limited by instruction given by teachers, as you see in this little diagram. Okay, it's not always teacher teaching, okay, in front of a blackboard, okay, to students. Okay, form-focused instruction could be very wide. It could range from more implicit types of focus on form, such as planning, usage of repetition, to more explicit focus on form, such as teacher modeling, and in this case, peer corrective feedback. So my research question is, how does peer corrective feedback develop L2 speaking over time? Okay. So we know that peer corrective feedback improves the process and the product of language learning. And traditionally, it was used more common in writing classrooms, but recently it's also becoming quite popular in the speaking classrooms because it offers a good solution for teachers, that teachers are no longer restricted by time and also class size. Okay, peer feedback develops critical thinking. It improves learner autonomy and social interaction. It decreases anxiety, increases their desire, okay, to learn. However, while peer feedback can generate comment on content, organization, and vocabulary, previous studies have pointed out that how about grammatical accuracy, that learners, especially the lower proficiency learners, are unable to produce quality feedback on accuracy. Okay, so once again, these are some of the criticisms towards peer corrective feedback. Okay, it's usually more implicit. The comments can be unclear, okay, and that as a result, learners are unable to give and receive feedback effectively. Okay, just because they don't have as much knowledge experience, and also in some cases, they just don't have the language proficiency. Okay, so this was my original study that I conducted for my PhD, and today I'll be only looking at the yellow highlight section where I look at the effects of giving peer feedback intervention to participants, okay, over a 7-week period. Okay, you can see that I started with a practice week, okay, and then I did pre-test, 7 weeks of weekly intervention, and then post-test. Okay. In all the weeks, students narrated a 4-picture cartoon in English, and this particular difficulty level is equivalent to the ACAN pre-level 1 level. Okay, so let me play a little bit of this recording.
One day, a woman was watching a TV program. TV program showed human population was destroying its habitats. And she feels sad and she thinks. She thought what she can.
Stop for a minute here. Okay, so the intervention I gave to my participants, I had 38 participants. They were all non-English major first-year university students. For 7 weeks, once a week during class time, they received about 20 minutes worth of intervention. Students worked in pair where they listened to each other's narration and they gave feedback. Okay, I instructed the participant to be specific and to make feedback to improve their partner's complexity, accuracy, and fluency. Okay. The participant did some practice prior to the intervention, just because a lot of previous studies have pointed out that students do not have enough experience and knowledge of conducting peer feedback. So in the training week, I explained the purpose and I gave some demonstrations, okay, and we practiced, okay, giving feedback by listening to one model narration recording. Okay, I asked students to write the feedback using a comment sheet, which I had it printed out on a sheet of A4 paper, and then I got students to discuss the comments they made afterwards in small groups. Okay, this is the actual feedback sheet produced by one participant, and I will explain this very quickly in English. Okay, so the comment sheet has 3 sections. I asked students to comment on fluency. Okay, was it smooth? Did it stop? Was it speedy? Okay, did it sound natural? I also asked them to comment on accuracy. Okay, how was the grammar? Okay, how was past continuous, past perfect, articles? Okay, complexity, whether or not difficult grammar was used, long phrases, a wide range of vocabulary, etc., etc. Okay. Each week during the intervention, the participant recorded their narration individually on the computer. Then they work with a partner, okay, to complete the peer feedback. The participant listened to their partner's recording and they wrote comments. I gave them the flexibility of writing comments in Japanese or English. And then after receiving the comments, the participant listened to their own narration again by reading through the comments. And before the participant recorded their second narration, I collected all the comment sheets. In order to measure changes in their speaking, I used 6 CAF measurements, 2 measurements for complexity, 2 for accuracy, and 2 for fluency. Okay, I'll explain a little bit more about these measurements in the later slides. Okay. Then the next step is I try to locate 3 representative participants, okay, by adding all the 6 measurements together into a composite score. And then I calculated their pre-test and post-test score, and I found the gain score. Okay. After finding a gain score for each individual participant, then I put all the participants in a scale, rank them from the highest to lowest. And then from the scale, I chose 3 average achieving participants. The reason for choosing and looking at the average participants is because I wanted to avoid outliers, because top achieving and the bottom achieving students are likely to develop differently, okay, from average students. I gave the 3 representative participants per student names, okay, Mana, Manabu, and Musashi. In the next 2 slides, I have summarized their weekly changes over time, okay, from pre-test, okay, 7 weeks of intervention, and then post-test, okay. You can see that the first 2 complexity measurements, mean length T unit and clause over T unit ratio, there's no real trend or tendency, okay. The participant didn't really improve in the post-test compared to the pre-test, okay. The numbers fluctuated throughout the weeks. Okay. The accuracy measurements are probably more interesting. Okay, if we have a look, the percentage of error-free T unit, you can see that compared to the post-test, all 3 participants, okay, increased. Okay, and the differences are quite significant. We can see that Musashi is the highest achiever out of the 3, and that in week 2. Okay, he had the lowest performance of percentage of error-free T units. Mana and Manabu reached the peak of their performance in week 6, where Mana had about 85%, and Manabu had about 90%. Next, I would like to have a look at the percentage of accurate past tense verb usage. Okay, once again, okay, compared to the pre-test scores, all 3 participants improved a lot in the post-test. You can see that they have almost reached 100% accuracy. Okay, for Musashi, he reached ceiling effects in week 2, okay, and then again in week 4 and week 5. This shows that even learners who reach ceiling effect, okay, could still make mistakes, okay. With Manabu, he reached 100% accuracy in week 6, and then once again decreased slightly in week 7, and then increased slightly, okay, in the post-test. For the speech rate and self-repair, okay, the remaining 2 measurements for fluency, you can see that the participant didn't really improve, okay, compared to the pre-test. Okay, all 3 participants actually decrease in the speech rate. And what can be suggested from this? Probably it shows that there were some sort of trade-off effect. For example, okay, Musashi decreased in speech rate in week 2 when he achieved 100% accuracy in the percentage of past tense verb usage. Okay, and and also in week 4 and week 5, okay, when he had 100% of accuracy, he scored about 70%. Okay, he scored about 77 words per minute. Sorry, I will stop for a minute. Apologies, that was the nurse. Let me continue. Okay, with self-repair, once again, okay, compared to the pre-test, all three participants actually increase in a number of self-repairs. And what can be suggested from this probably shows that the number of self-repairs increase because the participant try to focus on accuracy. They try to correct themselves to make themselves more grammatical correct. And as a trade-off, they made more repairs throughout maybe repetitions and also self-reconstructions. So the remaining time I would like to spend on looking the transcript of one participant. Okay, I have highlighted some points in red for self-repairs. I underline some errors, okay, using underline, and some errors that I thought might be interesting to have a look. I've highlighted them in green. So the first page, I put the transcript for post-test and the pre-test. The first impression of this two transcript is that we can see this particular participant produce much more content in a post-test. Okay, and if we read through the transcript, indeed, the participant added more content, and also the units used are more complex, more sophisticated compared to the units in the pretest. Okay, let's have a look. For example, okay, in the pretest, second line, okay, the name of woman is Lisa. Lisa saw news that says human pollution is destroying seals' habitat, so people should pay attention to them. Okay, whereas compared to the post-test, okay, the program was saying that human pollution was destroying seals' habitat, and she was interested, okay, in improving the environment because she likes wild animals very much. You can see that the units in post-test, okay, are much longer than the units used by the participant in the pre-test. Both pre-test and post-test had a lot of self-repairs. For example, okay, in pre-test, okay, and she wanted to join the activity to save the seal habitat. And a few days later, she found EcoTour. It helps to save animal. Okay, and whereas compared to the post-test, okay, once again, the participant produced quite a bit of fillers. A few days later, she went to a travel agency and found eco-tours that have wild animals by cleaning environment. So she was attracted by the tours. And 2 months later, she really went to the tours. Okay, let's have a look. The second half of the transcript. 2 months later, she joined the tour. Okay, you can see that, and she helped save the animal. In this particular unit, a participant kind of used a mixture of present tense and past tense. Okay, let's have a look. The transcript in the post-test. Okay. She was enjoying and satisfied. Okay, so it shows that this participant still has some problems, okay, with kind of mixing the verb usage. Okay, I have the other transcript for the other 7 weeks. But due to time limitation, I will skip this transcript. If you're interested, please feel free to contact me. Let me stop for 1 second. Okay, apologies. Please let me continue. Okay, let's go to the conclusion. So what can we say from this study? Okay, that form-focused instruction such as peer corrective feedback is effective, especially for developing grammatical accuracy. However, the effects do fluctuate over time. Okay, so that if we simply look at the result using pre-test and post-test, we probably would have missed out a lot of the interesting changes and fluctuations throughout the weeks. Limitations, there are, of course, a lot of limitations. For example, for the accuracy measurement, although I wanted to look at the percentage of accurate verb usage, at the end of the day, I really only look at the percentage of simple past tense. The reason for that is because a lot of participants actually avoided using the more complex past tense forms, okay? Maybe because they want to make it more perfect, more accurate, and so they kind of were less willing to use the more complex forms. Okay, I lacked learner voices. I wish I had opportunity to talk to the students, to ask them about the comments that they actually produced, okay, how much they actually understood the comments. It would be nice to have longer intervention time, and that probably more practice of peer feedback before the actual intervention would be also ideal. Okay, so this is end of my talk today, and once again, thank you for listening.